So in this video, I want to answer the question of how can we get more participation in our sessions without working harder? In fact, quite the opposite. How can we get participation that flows more easily without us having to do anything at all? It's so tempting when we lead a session that doesn't generate the kind of participation that we want to think that the solution is to add in more interactive, energizing activities, to ask participants more questions, or to just think that it's a problem with you, right? You just need to be a more engaging, entertaining, charismatic facilitator. But those are all effortful ways to generate more participation. And I think they keep us in the cycle of thinking that the solution is outside of ourselves. Like there is some code to crack that we don't really know yet. A big mindset shift for me was realizing that actually a lot of the answers were in myself and in my knowing, because I had been a learner before and I still am. I know what it's like to be engaged in learning something new, and I know what it's like to want to talk about it with other people, right? And the more that I learn to harvest my own experience as a human and to bring that into my learning design, the better my learning design is. If you learn to draw on that wealth, you're going to find yourself looking for exterior answers a lot less. For a long time, I didn't trust my learning design to always do what I wanted it to do. I had a lot of experience designing sessions that I thought would be a resounding success that actually fell flat. And conversely, sometimes sessions I thought weren't going to really generate any participation at all actually did really well. So I think that rattled my confidence a little bit in just feeling like I didn't know exactly what was the thing that would make something land. Over time, I started to realize that there was something in my approach that didn't make sense. When I would design questions to ask participants, I would spend a lot of time thinking about how do I design a really good question? Is this question interesting enough to make people want to participate? And does this question make my content shine? And then it hit me that the question itself was never the point. What actually matters is the answers that the question generates, because it's the answer, not the question, that makes other people want to jump in. So now when I want to ask a question in a session, my first filter is not, is this an interesting question? It's, is it going to generate interesting answers? Because if we want to work less hard and still get real participation, the thing we're proposing has to feed a momentum people want to keep building on their own. I actually built myself a little tool for this, and it comes out of hosting dinner parties. I love to host dinner parties, and I love to invite people who don't know each other and to think about this dinner party as a way that they can connect. And I think that that does involve some risk, right? There is a risk that it'll be awkward or that people won't really know what to talk about. People arrive with different levels of comfort with this kind of social interaction. I mean, in that sense, it's no different than a workshop, really. And I think that what makes someone a good host isn't someone who is super charismatic or someone who knows how to come up with the best questions. It's someone that could ask a question that when the person answers, it makes other people perk up at the dinner table and want to contribute as well. It's about creating a space where your guests can shine and they can reveal those nuggets that make them really interesting people for themselves. Have you ever had that moment where a few of your friends meet and then one of them starts talking about something that you're like, oh, I know that this other person is going to find that super interesting. And it's just such a delicious moment where the people that you love are creating a new connection and you get to witness that. And a question that you asked can do that, but it's not really your question. It's the answer that it generated. So I built myself a little tool called the dinner conversation test. Before asking something in a session, I ask myself, would this generate conversation around a dinner table? Is it likely to start a conversation of its own? Or is it more likely that one person would answer and then the ball would be thrown back to me? A good way to know if a question passes the dinner conversation test is to think about, is this question going to generate the kind of answer where when someone gives it to me, I can say, yeah, what else, right? It's a question that has legs. It's going to go far by itself. It's going to have a life of its own in the group. You don't have to keep working really hard. We tend to think that generating participation in workshops or presentations is such a different beast, like it requires a totally different set of skills, and one that you don't necessarily have. But actually, it is remarkably similar to what makes a group of people want to talk in real life. And you already have so much experience with those things. So I think that drawing on that experience is often a lot more powerful than trying to look for external solutions on the internet. If you want to create a highly engaging presentation that gets people talking and makes them think differently about an idea, then you should come to my free masterclass. I'm going to walk you through a sequence that I created called the engagement sequence that helps you design a learning experience from start to finish with that as the goal. You should come to the next one. It's totally free, very valuable, and you can register at the link down below. So I hope that this was useful and that it unlocked a way of thinking about participation and engagement for you that makes you feel empowered and just gives you the assurance that you know what you're doing, and you can rely on your own experience as a human in conversation with other humans to build a really great workshop. All right, that's it for today. Bye.